during the keto craze and the long fasting craze. And now people are going away from keto and questioning, is fasting too stressful, especially for women? So let's talk about some of that. Where do you see fasting is still a good mechanism, a healing tool? Where is it not appropriate? And let's dive into the benefits and then what to be careful with.
Yeah, I love that. So those were all the questions I asked when God really downloaded this to me. Like, you have to teach women how to fast their body and feed their faith. And so I dove into all the research. It was very popular at the time as a fad diet, right? Like, let me quickly lose some weight with fasting. And what kept coming up was women would hit a plateau and stop losing, or they would regain because what they were doing wasn't really sustainable or happy for them. They were miserable. And so I really started to see these patterns of, yes, we have lost our metabolic flexibility. We're all sugar burners. We're eating every couple hours a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of processed foods. And so if you tell a woman to just stop eating for an extended period of time, she's going to be hangry and jittery and irritable and not happy. And so fasting doesn't work for me, right? And they just give up. So I had to address that piece of it. And then the other women who are just doing 16-8 all the time, like, this is my new normal and we're not shaking anything up. Your body has innate intelligence and it will shift to have that be the new set balance. If you are eating in an 8-hour window every day, the same foods every day, your body will say, okay, that's how much we need to maintain and stabilize, and it will stop losing weight. So I went back to, how is our body actually created to function and thrive? I have a bachelor's degree in physiology. That was my major. And I went back to all that hardcore science that I totally forgot about as a surgeon. And what I realized was women do best when they regain their metabolic flexibility so they can go from sugar burning to fat burning mode, when they have diversity in their diet and they're feeding their gut microbiome healthy foods and they're digesting their food properly, when they clean up their foods and eat faith foods instead of franken foods, which I call all the stuff that we make up in the lab. And then we also vary how and when we eat. So it shouldn't always be 16-8 or a standard eating window. We need to do some feast famine cycling or carb cycling, because women do need carbohydrates at certain times of the month. And depending on what your goals are, you're going to adjust that accordingly. But what I ended up creating was this progressive fasting program to bring back your metabolic flexibility. Like, let's get you in a little ketosis to remind your body how to burn fat for fuel. And then when you take the food away, it can burn your own fat and stay in that ketosis. And then you can start to do a longer stretch of fasting. And I teach women how to go a dinner to dinner fast, and then you feast the next day, because as soon as you start chronically lowering your calorie intake, that calorie deprivation, your thyroid will say, oh, she's starving us to death. Downregulate that function. We don't want to lose any more weight because we don't think any more food is coming. And so you don't want that as a woman. And you want to tell your ovaries and your thyroid, hey, we're good here. We just had a low day, but we're still healthy. Don't be turning down my metabolism. And so you do that carbohydrate day, and then you go back to your low carbs. And we even do a 3-day water fast in my program, because a lot of women want that deeper healing work. And that's when the autophagy comes in, where the cellular repair and restoration work comes in. And I'll tell you, I've had uncontrolled diabetics, a woman in her 70s with a hemoglobin A1C uncontrolled, do this program and regain her life and her health. It's like so rewarding to watch women when they realize how their body's actually functioning and like how to help that as opposed to like hinder it. like, it's a game changer. There's nothing else as amazing.
And I love that you're talking about changing it up, because I was in a place where it was so easy for me to fast all day. It was not, and I almost had to force myself to start
Yeah,
eating earlier. But my metabolism had slowed because it was just going to slow to where my baseline was. Okay,
yes.
she's giving me this. Okay, that's what I'm going to burn. So then I started incorporating more calories and eating earlier and expanding the window. Guess what happened? My metabolism shot up, and I actually was burning more calories throughout the day. And this is something people call reverse dieting, where you slowly incorporate more calories, because most women have dieted all of their life. They've gotten themselves down to 1,200 or less calories. There's not much more you can eliminate. So if you start
Right.
to eliminate another 500 calories, you're going to shut your system down and you're still not going to lose weight. And then what do? There's nowhere to go. Whereas if you have a metabolism that can burn 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day, I'm just, speaking average for a woman, then you've got room to cut or fast longer, and you can change it up. So you're keeping your body guessing and moving around and strategically using that healing tool of fasting to reduce the inflammation, cleanse the body, trigger the autophagy. And